Does it for me. That's his go-to.
Yeah. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom. Rabbi Katz, we have not sat next to each other on the bima, it feels like, in a while.
Yes.
I know it's only been 2 weeks, but it feels longer. Hi.
Yeah, vacation will do that too, I guess.
Shabbat shalom.
It's good to see everyone.
Hi, Munchkins. Hi. Hi. Mwah. Shabbat
All right.
shalom. Watch your head. Go that way. Duck.
Here you go.
Duck.
You got it. You got it.
There you go, baby. You got it. Na 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 Try that again.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
So hopefully everyone grabbed their prayer book on their way in. If not, you can find them right here as you walk in. We've got large print prayer books on your left as you walk in, as well as hearing assisted devices on your right as you walk into the office. Our usher today is Marty Baum, our president. If you need anything, he can point you in the right direction. Our bathrooms are outside to the right, though all gender and handicap accessible bathrooms are through the office toward the back. If for some reason we need an emergency exit, of course, there's the exit we came in, but notice there's an exit here, an exit toward the back, and you'll see more doors. Finally, we hope that everyone will participate tonight. They'll follow along, they'll pray, they'll hum, they'll clap. And if at any point you feel lost, don't be shy about turning to the person near you and asking where you are on the page or in the book, and they'll direct you. So we're going to continue on page 24. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem.
Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Boachem l'shalom.
Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei So again, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I have to say, I was recently watching or really looking at a graph on my phone with my kids, because as the weeks have gone by, I've been watching as it's been growing darker and darker and darker each and every day. And so we just came back from London, where actually it gets dark at 3:50 in the evening. And we came here and it felt like almost like a breath of relief to have it get dark at 4:29 or whenever it does.
That's right.
And so we were looking at the graph and I was showing my kids, at the end of January, we're going to have another, hour more of light, 30 minutes on each end than we do right now. And at the end of February, look where we're going to be. And then look at March and look at what daylight savings time is going to be. It feels almost like this Shabbat and last Shabbat triggers this kind of climb. And because we pay the most attention to sunset around Shabbat, the Jewish people do, right? When does it come in? When does it go out? When do you light the candles? When is Havdalah? Even with our standard 6:30 start, Shabbat allows us to kind of mark the marching out of this darkest time. We sustained ourselves through the lighting of the Hanukkah candles. And now we sustain ourselves with the hope as we watch each day just get 2 minutes and 40 seconds longer. And so we're going to begin with the lighting of our candles. And I want to call Laura up. And we're on page 2 and 3 as we prepare to usher in Shabbat formally.
Okay. Sorry. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness remind us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Sher Shabbat.
And we're going to join together now in Kiddush as we lift up our cups and we say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat
L'chaim.
So over the course of the past few weeks, you might have noticed that we changed our routine up a little bit on Friday night. Normally after this, we would just immediately announce that we're going into L'chadodi and go straight in. But actually, in our tradition, it's customary to say a series of psalms. In fact, actually 7 psalms, which are supposed to remind us, we're not going to do 7, don't worry, but that are supposed to remind us of each of the days of the week. And as you say each one, we pause and we think, and there's a Monday and a Tuesday and a Wednesday, symbolizing each of the days. And you're supposed to kind of recall as it is each place you were as you say, ending then on the heights of the special psalm for Shabbat. Now, we're going to sing one of those, Lechuna Ranana, but I want you to take a moment to reflect on that week that was. And as you sing, imagine, what did you do? Where were you? Go through the week in your head and figure out what it is that you want to emulate from that week that was into the week to come. Page 12.
Lechuna Ranana,
Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Ladonai. Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Ladonai.
Naria לצור אישנו מקדמה פניו ותודה נריה לצור אישנו בזמירות נריה לו לכו נרננה לכו נרננה לאדוני לכו נרננה one more time
Naria לצור אישנו
מקדמה
פניו ותודה
נריה לצור אישנו
בזמירות נריה לו. Let's hear you. לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו
נרננה לאדוני לכו נרננה
We're on page 20, L'chadodi. L'chadodi, ya la 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 la, likrat kala, ya la 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 la, b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat,
ya la 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 la, l'chadodi, ya la 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 la, likrat kala, ya la 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 la,
b'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat
nikabila Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Yishmi'anu el hamiluchad Adonai echad, b'shemo echad,
B'shemo
tiferet, v'litechila.
Yainai, ya la 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 la, l'chadodi, yainai, ya la 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 la, likrat kala. Ya la 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 la, b'nei Shabbat nikabila. Likrat Shabbat,
לכוון אליך,
כי מקור הברכה.
מראש מקדם לשמחה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה.
לקראת כלה, יא לה 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 לה, בני שבת נקבלה.
Verse 5, התעוררי.
התעוררי,
תעוררי,
כי באורך
אורי, אורי,
yain yain
ya la 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 lekhat oti ya la 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 likrat kala ya la 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 la
Shabbat, B'nei Shabbat, Nikara. We rise together, verse 9.
בואי ושלום, עטרת בלילה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. Shabbat nikare la 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 lekhat oti ya la 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 likrat kala ya la 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 bnei Shabbat nikare.
We continue standing page 28. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
We're seated. Top of page 31. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, from whom the evening flows. Baruch ata Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
Amen.
Page 32. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Ukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta.
Al ken Adonai Eloheinu,
B'shokmeinu v'kumeinu,
נשיח בחוקך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד.
כי הם חיינו
ואורך ימינו ואורך ימינו
ובהם נגה יומם ולילה, יומם ולילה.
ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Shema
אהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
From page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there's a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Page 40.
This melody is like a wave. So let yourself just hear and be an echo. Breathe. Breathe. Mi chamocha.
Mi chamocha.
Va'elim Adonai.
Va'elim Adonai.
Mi kamocha.
Mi kamocha.
Nedar b'kodesh.
Nedar b'kodesh.
Nora.
Nora.
Tehilo.
Tehilo.
Oseh.
Oseh.
Feleh.
Feleh.
Malechutecha.
Malechutecha.
Ra'uvanecha.
Ra'uvanecha.
Bokeh-hayam.
Bokeh-hayam.
Lifnei Moshe u'Miriam.
Lifnei Moshe u'Miriam.
Ze'eli. Anu ve'ameru.
Anu ve'ameru.
Adonai lo.
Adonai lo.
Leolam va'ed.
Leolam va'ed.
ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth, prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
Amen, amen.
Page 44.
We haven't done this melody in a while, but you're gonna love it. I know it. ושמרו בני ישראל
את השבת
לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת,
לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים, כי ששת ימים עושה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ.
Let's hear you.
ושמרו
בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת
לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We rise together on page 46, and after this opening meditation, we move silently through page 62.
אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך.
Keep letting your prayers flow. I've been holding back. Something about the way the congregation sounds tonight is so sweet from like the moment that the service started, and I kept wanting to tell you that. So I'm telling you now, so sweet. We pray that this life that we have to build with, we choose to make meaning out of this life. May we build it with chesed. May we learn how to do that always, always, always.
Olam chesed yibane, yararai, yararai. Olam chesed yibane, yararai, yararai. Olam chesed yibane, yararai, yararai. Olam chesed yibane, yararai, I must build this world from love. And you must build, and you must build this world from love, from love. And if we build, and if we build this world from love, then God will build this world. Then God will build this world. We'll build this world from love through us. Olam chesed yibane, olam chesed yibane. Olam chesed yibane.
As we do each week, we join together in a special prayer for the state of Israel. This week, some of the words in the traditional prayer, all the more so, feel real for us. As we talk about what it means that we want God to guide Israel in its good counsel, and we want its leaders to lead with dignity and grace. This week has been a different kind of news week for Israel. Not only, of course, are our hearts in Gaza with the soldiers, with the civilians, our hearts are still aching October 7th, but also we watched as Israel's checks and balances really did check and balance this week. And as a law that was going to diminish the democratic nature of Israel was peeled back by the Supreme Court in Israel. And so, in a way, this week, despite lots of the darkness around us, has actually been somewhat hopeful. And so I say these words with hope in my voice. Avinu Shabashamayim, Sor Yisrael v'goalo barech et medinat Yisrael, Reshit smichat geulatinu. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of of joy for all who live there. As together we say, Amen. Our hearts all go out to those who are ill and who are in need of healing, who are in need of a refuah shlema, a complete healing of body, mind, soul, and spirit. We're on page 253. And before I take names of those in our congregation and we observe the names on our screen, I want to make mention of one specific name, by the way, who's doing really well, which is our clergy associate, Ronnie Pressman, who had hip surgery this past week. And she's walking faster than anyone I've ever seen have hip surgery. And so
She's running back to
yeah.
Torah.
So we're excited to have her back soon. You'll see her before you even know it. She's kind of raring and ready to go already. But if you have the chance, we wish her refuah shlema, and feel free to reach out directly to her. And so we add to her name the following.
Yeshua ben Yoel el Katina. Christine again. Sarah. El Katina.
Again, page 253.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mikor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
I was recently having a conversation with a young person. We were talking about their future, and they were talking about the life that I'm living now. And they turned to me and they said something really sad. They said, I don't think I ever want kids. And I said, well, why? And they said, well, because the world is so messed up. I don't know if I'd want to bring a child into this world. And on the surface, I understood what they meant by that. Climate change is a scary thing. We've got so much war, so much bloodshed, so much hate, so much division in our lives. I get the darkness that they're worried about bringing a child into. But I felt sad about that answer. And tonight I want to reflect a little bit on it. Now, I want to say, and this is an important caveat, and I cannot express this enough, I have no judgment for those who do not want to bring children into this world for any variety of reasons. There's a lot of people who decide to remain childless. It might be because they're dealing with infertility and they don't want to necessarily go through those particular treatments. It might be because they don't feel like they particularly want to dedicate the kind of energy and time that it takes to raise a child. They might have a career ahead of them that is their whole entire life. They might feel like, for any number of reasons, it's not right for them. And they are not who I am addressing. Tonight, I'm addressing specifically those who feel like they do not want to bring a child into the world because they are worried the world is so messed up. And how that particular answer is an answer that I think not only is challenging, but also is counter to potentially one of the most famous midrashim about this week's Torah portion. So if you know it, you know that there's a weird grammatical thing that happens in the Torah portion right before Moses is born, where we're told that basically there was a guy named Amram who kind of meets a woman named Yocheved, and he knew her, and they had a child named Moses. And that verb tends to be used at first time that someone actually kind of gets married and has a child. The way that it's framed, it looks like boy meets girl, they have a child, that child is Moses. The only problem with that is we know for a fact Moses had siblings, and we know for a fact Moses' siblings were older. We know he has an older sister named Miriam, and we know he has an older brother named Aaron. And so from that weird grammatical turn of phrase, the rabbis create a story, which is that when Pharaoh decided that he wanted to have all the baby boys thrown into the river, Aaron spearheaded Amram, Moses' father, spearheaded a campaign to get the men to kind of divorce their wives and to no longer have children with their wives. The thinking behind that was that Egypt was just so dark, and bringing a child into Egypt would mean, if he was a boy, that they would face death and destruction. So why bother? Why not just end the thing now? And Miriam, interestingly, not Aaron, but Miriam, the daughter, comes forward to Amram and gives her a piece of her mind. And Miriam says, Dad, if you do that, first of all, you're not only going to destroy all the men, you're going to destroy all the future women. But also, if you do that, you let Pharaoh win. The world needs you to keep going. Despite the challenges, despite the pain, there could be a future there. But if you give up, if you stop, there will be no future. And Amram thinks about it. And Amram knew his wife Jochebed, and they gave birth to Moses. That audacity on the part of Miriam to step forward and to say, do not let the ills of the world control your hopes and dreams, is incredibly powerful. She symbolizes for us the clarity of hope, which has been a clarion call for the Jewish people throughout time. All of us need to find hope, and sometimes hope might seem futile. It was futile to bring a child into Pharaoh's world, knowing that Pharaoh would likely kill them. But to have the strength to face that pain, rather than let Pharaoh win through your own deeds, is a sign of incredible courage on the part of the Jewish people to keep going. It reminds me of a story that Abraham Joshua Heschel used to tell about a town full of clocks. And one day, all the clocks stopped working. And they did everything they could to get the clocks to start, but they couldn't. And the years went by, and no one could fix the clocks until one day, a master clockmaker happened to be coming through the village. And everyone got excited, and they ran up, and they finally went and met with him and brought their clocks to him and said, can you fix it? And they lined up, and he went down the line, unable to fix each clock, until finally he got to a man standing there with his clock. And he said, this one I can fix. And he went into the back and he fixed it, and it started working again. Now everybody gathers around to try to figure out why it is that this man's clock was able to be fixed. And his answer to them was, even when my clock didn't work, I continued to wind it. I didn't know why, but I kept winding it day after day after day. And because I did that, all of your clocks rusted, but mine didn't. So that when finally the clockmaker could appear, he could fix my clock. The futility sometimes of walking through a world that is incredibly difficult, that's incredibly painful, that seems like it stands against you, is such an important value. Judaism, and I've said this before, is not a religion of optimism. It is a religion of hope. Optimism looks at the world and says, it's good, it's fine, the cup is half full. Hope looks at the world and sees what it could be and believes that it can get there despite the challenges. Miriam did not have optimism, but Miriam had hope in that story. And there's something else there too. Because Miriam said to her father, you may have the child that is going to actually make the difference. Don't stop. And that is echoed, by the way, in the Purim story. If you know it, you know that after Haman signs a decree to destroy the whole Jewish people, Mordecai comes to Esther, who's married to the king, says to Esther, Esther, you got to go to the king and you got to tell him what's going on. And Esther's nervous because no one approaches the king. And he says to her, look, a redeemer may one day come by and may save things. But maybe it's just as true that you were born for this exact moment. You were born for this exact moment. None of us know who in the future generation is going to save this broken world, who's going to take the world as it is and build a bridge to the world as it could or it should be. And to give up the chance to bring someone into that world precisely because the world is broken is some of the worst rationale one can find. The world needs the people to move it forward, to advance the ball. There's a reason, by the way, that at every bris and every baby naming, we put a chair out, which is called Kisei Shel Eliyahu, the chair for Elijah. And we invite Elijah to greet that new child. The reason being that Elijah is supposed to herald the coming of the Messiah. And even if we don't believe in a Messiah per se, all of us believes that that child could be the future that's going to take this world and make it a little bit better, a little bit more whole, a little bit more true. And to have the hope, the audacity to believe that that screaming infant could actually be the one to bring peace, to bring wholeness, is itself such an act welling, brimming with faith, brimming with hope, that it symbolizes all that is good in our tradition. There's a lot of reasons not to have kids. And as I said before, if you have a separate reason from what I just said, that is fine. But to not bring a child into the world because you're scared of the world that is, without giving them a chance to make the world as it could be, robs the world of a potential life that can make it better. Don't despair. Now, I bring this not because I want to speak about childbirth, but rather because that child that I spoke with, that youth that I spoke with, was emblematic of a lot of our opinions about what that future will be. Perhaps you were made for this moment. Perhaps you can bring a little bit more wholeness. The world isn't a done deal. And as powerless as you might feel, as pessimistic as you might be, as unoptimistic as you might carry yourself, you must have hope. You must brim with hope. You must turn your clock over and over and over. And when you do, you will find the world was made precisely for you. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to rise together, page 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Our thoughts now turn to those who we have loved and who we have lost. As I call the name of your loved one and you're observing their yard site, I'll invite you to rise and remain standing. Barry Abrams, Margaret Ander, Bess Berg, Sophie Berger, Samuel Best, Irving Bilo, Herman Borowski, Hyman Chavkin, Mary Shapiro Cohen, Anna Dancor, Pauline David, Rosalind Egan, Francis Ehrlich, Meryl Eisenberg, Ann Feynman, Nettie Fisher, Ken Fischetti, Albert Fleischman, Irving Abraham Friedman, Lillian Ginsberg, Sadie Hodes Gould, Horace Guthman, Ellen Handler, William Hillowitz, Irene Abraham Hodes, Gloria Isaacs Berlin, Bella Kaiserman, Benjamin Kolstein, Judith Kosak, Sylvia Krasner, Audrey Levine Thalsheimer, Marguerite Lilienthal, Eunice Michelson, Paul Nagorny, Robert Nazer, Barbara Neckers, Corrine Robbins, Estelle Rothman, Daniel Rosenthal, Rabbi Eliu Shagrin, Edith Shapiro, Laura Seltzer, Joan Shannon, Charles Smithen, Shirley Snyder, Beatrice Spear, Eleanor Stein, Anna Sweetwood, Georgia Taylor Benedict, German Trinidad, Abraham Wolf, Loretta Yano Fisher, and Solomon Ziff. And in a moment, I'm going to read those who are in their Shiva and Shloshim periods of mourning. And there are a number of them in the room right now. This is a long list. It's been a long list for the past month and a half. And if you hear someone on this list, make sure to reach out to them, especially if they're here, to give them comfort. I also know that there are people in this room who are just out of Shloshim. And if that's you, we also offer our condolences still to you. And reach out to them as I go around in that 1-year period of mourning when you'll find people will announce names. Beatrice Slater, grandmother of Jamie Bedrin. Joseph Wojak, partner of Diane Horowitz. Florence Horowitz, mother of Farah Puck. Herbert Cooper, father of Debbie Shapiro. Claude Pomper, father of Karen Greenwald. Mark Wiener, cousin of Robin Wiener Renteria. Elsa Robbins, grandmother of Melanie Robbins. Faith Sorkin, mother of Jill Johnson. Steve Fetter, father of Stacy Fetter Seidenberg. And those who are in their 1-year period of mourning or who might be observing a yard site that was on this list, I'll invite you to rise and share the name of your loved one. We join together on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad divrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomachon v'chayet echol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah v'varach le'olam omer maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitala v'yitala l'shemei d'kedusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran b'yolma v'imru amen. Yehi shalom araba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'momav, u'ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'koshvei tevel v'imru amen. Please be seated. So before we move into our closing song, we got a lot of announcements.
January is very, very, very full.
Yes.
And sorry, that was a very abrupt change from Kaddish. But it is a very, very full and exciting month. Sorry to say, starting tomorrow morning, but I'll let you continue.
So tomorrow morning, we've got a really full morning. I really want to give a plug for both our yoga, which is at 9 a.m., and also our services at 10 a.m. We don't have a bar mitzvah. It's one of the rare weeks, so we need help making a minyan. So please come help us make sure that we've got 10. And we have an amazing yoga program at 9 a.m. led by Elisa. And so hopefully you can make it. Those who attended last time, I heard amazing things about it. And so
I'll be there.
Yes. Now, just so you're not confused, there are 2 yoga programs happening within a week-ish
That's right.
of one
Tomorrow
another.
morning is
Tomorrow
our Shabbat,
morning is
regular
like
monthly Shabbat.
yoga as spiritual practice. It's Jewish yoga, right? The yoga that's happening a week from Saturday is a fundraiser for Israel. It's been this kind of worldwide campaign. There is one of the still hostages named Carmel, who is a yoga practitioner and instructor, and people do yoga for kind of in memory or in honor of her. We're going to be doing that a week from tomorrow night. It's got a little bit of a cover charge to it because it's a little bit of a fundraiser also going toward families that still have people who are
We'll make
in captivity.
Havdalah, we'll do yoga. It'll be a great night.
Exactly. The 11th, to back up a little bit, is a really important night. We're actually going to be joined by the Attorney General, by the U.S. Attorney, and by the ADL and some other important folks for a conversation about basically, what is a hate crime? What is a bias incident? When something happens in a public school, it's mostly around schools. Who do you report to? How do you report? How do you make sure that they actually take it seriously? And we're going to talk about those particular things as it pertains to anti-Semitism. And so it's a really important conversation. So even if you're a grandparent and you want to be able to arm yourself with information for your grandkids, or you just want to know more, or you really like the Attorney General, come on.
He's very likable.
He's really likable. Yeah.
And he's a congregant.
Come on Thursday and hear them. Do you want to say a word about artists in residence?
I definitely do. And then about a week later. So first, every year we have an artist in residence program that happens during Shabbat. But this year we have two for the residence of one, which is that on January 24th on I think it's a Wednesday evening, we're going to do a cooking demonstration with Chef Leah Koenig, who has a brand new cookbook out about the Roman influence on Jewish cooking. It's really interesting. She's going to show us a few recipes, and then hopefully you'll be inspired to make some of them for our Friday night Oneg Shabbat, our dinner that we're having after services, where, thanks to Marge and Paul Grayson, we once again are bringing an amazing experience of music here. This year it is Sandcatchers, led by Yoshi Fruchter. And Yoshi is a good buddy of Rabbi Katz, but that's besides the point. Yoshi and this group, Sandcatchers, play all kinds of wonderful Middle Eastern music. They are going to accompany and be part of our entire tefillah. They'll sing some other songs. Then we'll eat. You'll meet Leah. You can pre-order a cookbook. It's going to be an amazing night.
I've been feeling like I need some more oud in my life.
You definitely need more oud, and you're going to get a lot of it. You're going to
Yes.
get a lot of oud. So please register. We'd love it to be a big, wonderful crowd. It's a very special musical evening in celebration of Shabbat Shira.
Good. And look, we've got a lot of other stuff coming. I just want to give one more big plug. Get your tickets to our annual gala. It's the first weekend in February. It's going to be amazing. It's not here for the first time in a really long time. It's out in a beautiful location in Montclair on Label Street. And we're still looking for people to put in for the journal, get tickets. This is a way to celebrate our community. It's the one fundraiser, like physical fundraiser, that we have all year. Hopefully you can join us, because it should be a really great time. I promise to dance a lot. Hopefully you'll dance. It's called the Kidless Bar Mitzvah. The idea being that come live what a bar mitzvah would have been like for you if you were an adult, without all of that angst of being a teenager.
That's right. Dancing without all of the nonsense.
Yes.
Perfect.
So with that, we're going to close, Cantor.
We're going to close with a prayer for peace. Join us in the singing of Oseh Shalom. That's it. That was perfect, Ed. Just perfect. Oh, that's why.
Oseh Shalom bimroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh Shalom bimroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. שלום במרומיו, במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, אמרת ויעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל יושבי תימן, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תימן, amen, amen, amen. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Come have a cookie and practice tomorrow.